Tallahassee. I'm student meteorologist Nicholas Porcelli. Welcome to another Monday edition of FSU Weather. This is actually our third to last edition for the spring semester. So taking a live look at Doak Campbell Stadium, as you can see, it's still relatively cloudy. It's been like this for most of the day. There's been some lingering showers throughout the whole day. But the temperature has been relatively nice at 71 degrees, a little bit cooler than what we've been seeing the last couple weeks, and a slight breeze from the east-northeast at 10 miles per hour. And for our temperature almanac, as you can see, things are pretty much about average with our low of 57 and our high of 73. It's what we expect for this time of the year. Definitely nothing close to our record of high 93 in 1999 and the low back in 96. So it's actually been very fair weather. But these are as you can see here on the radar, this is what we've been seeing for most of the day here, just persistent lingering showers for most of the Big Bend region. And for tonight, we're gonna see cooler temperatures in the mid 50s. And for the rest of the show, we're going to be seeing if temperatures will increase in parts of the nation and whether there will be flooding concerns in the Northwest. All this and more on FSU Weather.
I'm student meteorologist Heather Lindstrom. This weekend we saw a cold front come into Tallahassee, which brought some chilly temperatures and quite a bit of rain to our area. And this morning that carried on with some cooler temperatures, but quickly swelling in with those warmer temperatures as the sun came out. Turned into a gorgeous day. We finally saw some patches of blue sky. And things will continue to warm up through the entire week. But Katie, how are things looking in Tallahassee?
Thank you, Heather. As you can see behind me, we are seeing a lot of those clouds rolling in, very heavy. Right now, we are sitting at 70. Breezy outside. For our current temperatures, we are seeing a little bit of a hot spot here in Monticello at 71. And as we get to the coast, 61 here in Apalachicola and Sumatra, so a little bit of cooler weather as we head towards the west. And hour by hour, we are seeing a little bit of those temperatures pick up, and we'll be at 72 here at 4 p.m. and we'll stay pretty steady as we get to the rest of the day. Our wind speed, we're seeing a little bit of a variety here with 10 miles per hour, and most of that wind is coming out of the east for the Big Bend region. Here in Apalachicola, 10, and Sumatra at 0, so a lot of that variety. And our satellite radar, we are seeing those rain linger in, and it's not hitting Tallahassee right now, but it will in just a few hours, so you might want to keep an eye out for that. We are seeing a lot of that cloud cover for Tuesday, so that cloud and that rain will be coming in, so we'll see a few scattered showers throughout the day. And for tonight's temperature, we'll see 58 here in Tallahassee, a little bit of a warm spot here in Apalachicola, and 56 here in Valdosta. So all around the Big Bend regions, we're looking at upper 50s to lower 60s for tonight. Our day planner, we are seeing 57 at 6 a.m., and as we climb down, we're going to see an increase in temperature at 74. You might see a little bit of rain at 6 a.m., but throughout the day, we're going to stay pretty quiet. A little bit of some clouds, but nothing too major. Tomorrow's local will increase in temperatures, and we're staying a little bit on the warm side. 77 here in Tallahassee, 77 here in St. Mark's, and as we get to the coast, we're seeing 76 here in Apalachicola, so more around the 70s. And as we get to our week ahead, we are seeing a rainy week, 10% chance of weather on Tuesday and Wednesday. As we get to Thursday, we're hitting 90%, so you definitely want to be expecting some showers. On Friday, we will be seeing 50% chance and a few strays of sun, so not much happening. Saturday and Sunday, a few rain, and then as we get to Monday, we will see 20% chance. So you definitely want to keep an eye out for that. So let's change things up to...
Yeah, so as we zoom out and we look at the whole state of Florida, we are seeing pretty similar temperatures for the most part. We're sitting in the upper 70s just south of I-4, and we're sitting at 70 degrees in Orlando, 70 in West Palm, and 72 in Miami's, and we're also seeing some rain move in the area as well, coming off of, well, I'll be coming to the East Coast, excuse me. So we're seeing some of those red shadings down by Miami and also up in Jacksonville, and we are seeing that rain move in from the Gulf up into the Big Bend region. So it would be nice to have your umbrella or raincoat out for today. And so that is going to bring a non-severe thunderstorm threat for the majority of the state. It looks like from about Gainesville south going up to Jacksonville, it looks like. So just some thunderstorms, but nothing too severe. And for our 72-hour rainfall forecast, we are going to see the majority of the rain down in Miami with 1/2 inch to 1.5 inches around the Central Florida area. So that includes areas like Gainesville and Ocala and maybe a little bit of Orlando. And we are going to see some heavier rainfall as well up in the Panhandle, where we'll see about 1.5 inches to 2.5 inches of rain there. So for the city of Miami for the next 3 days, we are going to sit at 77, and then we're going to get a little bit warmer on Thursday, up to 81 with higher rain chances throughout the whole rest of the week. So it's very important to have your umbrella on you there. And if you're like me heading to Tampa this weekend for the Taylor Swift tour, are you ready for it? We are going to be seeing some rain coming through the area, and those warm temperatures is definitely feel like a cruel summer down in Tampa. And although we haven't seen drought-like conditions throughout the majority of the state, we are going to see that rain, which we unfortunately know a little all too well. And for the city of Orlando, we will see that rain move through towards the end of the week, and also for Jacksonville, we'll see mid to upper 70s for the rest of the week, and for Pensacola, mid 70s, and a 100% chance of rain on Thursday. So it's important to have your umbrella and rain jacket out for that. We'll be sitting in the upper 50s and mid 60s for the majority of the state tonight, and then we're going to get back into the 80s for most of the state tomorrow. So let's zoom out a little bit at the southeast, right?
Yeah, thank you, Elizabeth. So taking a look at the bigger picture, we're seeing some cloudy skies over in Miami, but the warmest temperatures there, as we might expect, 72 degrees. Everywhere else, though, blue skies, which is a welcome sight after all the clouds and precipitation that we saw over the weekend with that cold front that came through. But temperatures are starting to warm up nicely after that has passed. Tampa with that hot spot, 76 degrees, but across the board, mid-70s and low to mid-60s. So overall, very, very comfortable temperatures. The dew points, these green areas are where you're going to see really muggy, moist conditions, and these brown areas is where it's going to be very, very dry. So very dry in Charlotte with a dew point of 25, and very muggy in Miami, 68. Very breezy conditions though, working to keep things nice and cool, very comfortable. And for the current radar, we're seeing quite a bit of showers, scattered showers across the state of Florida, with some locally heavier rainfall coming in right off the coast around Jacksonville. So basically for the entire state of Florida, just keep an eye on the radar and have an umbrella handy just in case. There are also some scattered showers in southern Georgia and southern Alabama just to keep an eye on, but no severe risk right now, just some scattered rain. And some scattered clouds too, as we saw today, cloudy morning. But the big story is this low pressure system that's starting to build over the Gulf, which is going to bring rain to southern Louisiana. And so if you're going to be on a boat or anything around there, keep a lookout for any marine watch warnings coming out over the next few days, because there might be some big swells in the storm. For the water vapor, this is just showing the upper water vapor in the atmosphere. So where you see these white shades down here, that is going to be the cold front that actually came through Tallahassee this weekend. and some drier air coming in behind that. For the storm outlook, there's actually a slight risk of severe weather over central Oklahoma and into southern Kansas, and marginal risk as well. So keep an eye on that for sure over the next day. And for tomorrow, there is not really any severe risk, but there is a chance of some showers and thunderstorms, so keep an eye on that. For tonight, temperatures are going to remain very comfortable, more spring-like temperatures than those really hot ones that we've been expecting over the last couple weeks. So 57 tonight in Tallahassee and warming up 73 in Key West. For tomorrow, we're going to see those warm temperatures again, 82 in Tampa, and overall very comfortable in the mid to lower 70s. Tampa up that hot spot. And for Nashville, sunny for the rest of the week and warming up to the upper 70s. But now I will hand things off to Elizabeth.
Thank you. It's me again. Hi. So live look over the res right now. We are seeing those clouds move in, and we're starting to see some of those colors from the sunset kind of break through there, but unfortunately not a good night to look at that. It is currently 71 degrees and winds out of the east-northeast at 10 miles per hour, so very mild conditions right now. And for the rest of the Big Bend, we're kind of seeing, oh, I'm sorry, this is for tonight. It will be 58 here in Tallahassee, mid-50s up in our southern Georgia counties, and a little bit warmer down by the coast, where we'll be at 61 in Carabel and 61 in Apalachicola. So for our day planner forecast for tomorrow, we're going to start out at 57 degrees when you first wake up for your 8 a.m. class. I am sorry if you have an 8 a.m. class. And then we will warm up to about 69 degrees at noon, and then by dinner time it'll be down to 74, and we'll see those clouds start to move in. And if you plan on driving tomorrow at 9 a.m., we'll be at 59 degrees, and then we'll hit the mid-70s by the afternoon hours, but no rain right now, so that is good for that. If you are supporting our Florida State men's golf team in Charlottesville, it is currently 77 degrees, so that is very high for right now, and no clouds in the sky, so be sure to have your sunscreen on and have your water, because that unfortunately can lead to some dehydration. And if you are supporting our men's baseball, take it on the Gators tomorrow. It's going to be 72 degrees at 6 p.m. With winds out of the northeast at 15 miles per hour. So it is not going to be too bad for that. So for tomorrow, it's going to be a high of 75 in Gainesville, and we're going to hit 78 on Wednesday. And then if you decide to stay until Thursday, we'll see that chance of rain move through. And then for our softball team, we're going to be playing Jacksonville. It'll be in the upper 70s at first pitch. And then for the rest of the week, we'll see some storms move in through the end of the week. How's the rest of the nation looking?
Today, the rest of the nation actually had really, really nice conditions. In fact, the temperatures were very swell for most of the country and hanging around mostly in the 70s and 60s. All the way from Miami all the way up north to Billings, Montana. Really nice temperatures, only a little bit cooler in Bismarck and Seattle. So really there wasn't any of that sweltering heat that we usually get for most of the country. And especially down here, it's actually still relatively nice. And as you can see here, not only were there nice temperatures, but there was actually not much precipitation for most of the country. Most of it's hanging around here in the state of Florida, and then there is some rain right here in the Central Plains. This is actually a severe thunderstorm watch, so if you are in this area of Oklahoma and northern Texas, please keep attention to this, because there might be a warning coming your way soon. And there's also some rain up here in Seattle and Portland in the Pacific Northwest, and this is due to that low pressure system here in the center of the country, as well as a front that is approaching the Pacific Northwest, bringing that moisture into the state of Washington and Oregon. And then this front that brought us the cooler temperatures is what's bringing these lingering showers for most of the state of Florida. As you can see right here, this is all that where that moisture is concentrated. Basically, it's been raining for in most of Florida. All this Gulf moisture just hanging around right here in the state, and as well as the rest of the Great Plains. This is going to bring some severe weather possibly in the next couple of days, and that moisture in the northeast, in the Pacific Northwest, is bringing rain to that area. Now, the good thing is there is severe drought from most of the middle of the Great Plains area of the country, so that rain will bring some reprieve, but it might not do too much, as this has been a drought that's been lingering for quite a while already. As for South Florida, there is also a drought, so this rain might do some good as well for them down there. Here in zooming into Texas and Oklahoma, which is where that thunderstorm watch is right now, that's where the worst part of the drought is currently situated, so that rain should bring some reprieve. And here you can see that the SPC actually has a slight risk into today and later on tonight. So that's where that watch is right now, and you might expect a warning sometime later on today if these storms continue to develop. And for our active alerts, here in the middle of the country is where most of the drought is, and so as you can expect, there is some fire watch for most of Nebraska and parts of Colorado. And that also has they also put an air quality alert because the fires and stuff that's going on around there is bringing some worsening the air quality in parts of Nebraska and even parts of Wyoming. Now, another thing to look at is parts of Montana are under a flood watch. So now that the temperatures are starting to rise and it is springtime, much of the snow melt from the tall Rocky Mountains is starting to flow down to the lower levels. So there is going to be some risk of floods and possibly even landslides. Now, looking at the state of Florida and the eastern coast, there are going to be some swells in the water. There is a small craft advisory, so if you are planning on going on the water, please pay attention because there will be some rip currents and possibly choppy waters. As for the Euro rainfall, most of the rain will be associated with that low pressure that's coming through the center of the country, and it will be bringing most of the rain into the Gulf Coast in New Orleans and the panhandle of Florida. And as for tonight's temperatures, it's going to be very fair for most of the country with temperatures in the 60s and 50s. And then for our temperature outlooks, the rest of the country actually is going to look to be leaning in the colder side. So now for our West Coast meteorologist, Spencer, how is it going to be looking out west?
Thanks, Nico. So we are going to take a little bit of a look about what's going on out on the West Coast. So as you guys may have seen on one of Nico's graphics a second ago, we did have a lot of high pressure building in the west and in the southwest, which is why we're seeing a sharp increase in the temperatures here in Southern California and in much of the desert areas. Look at that, 90 in Las Vegas and 89 in Bakersfield. Those are some pretty toasty temperatures even for April. And taking a look at some of the wind speeds, so you can see it's pretty variable across much of the region. We do have a slight low pressure forming in this area, which is why we see some possible counterclockwise flow. But overall, for most of the region, we do see some clockwise flow associated with that high pressure, with the exception of here along the coast where we have some onshore flow. And taking a look a little bit deeper into that satellite. So here you can see that atmospheric river. I'm sure you've heard that term being thrown around over the last few weeks and months. But there was that low pressure and that trough and that stationary front sitting here in the Pacific Northwest, which is bringing a heck of a lot of rain, almost a whole swell, an ocean swell of rain up here in the Pacific Northwest. So these areas, you definitely want to be careful of possibly flooding or landslides. And even here up in the Cascade Mountains, we are seeing some snow. So here is just a bit more of a zoomed in picture. Here you can see some more of those pinkish colors. This is where we're having the snow over the mountains. And all this green and yellow is rain that is just coming into the Pacific Northwest. And a lot of these regions really need the rain. So we're happy to have this rain. And here is an upper level water vapor map. So this is showing how much water vapor is in the upper layers of our atmosphere. And you can just see this plume of moisture making its way in from that trough up into the northern plains and up almost near Canada. So areas in Montana and the Dakotas, definitely be looking out for some rain in the next few days. And over the next few days, we can see we have a lot of rain here along the coast of California and up into the Pacific Northwest, and even as we can see here, out into Wyoming and Montana. So what can we expect to see over the next few days? So well, obviously overnight we are going to see a lot of cooling because the desert, we know we have very, very hot temperatures during the day and quite chilly temperatures at night. So that's what we're seeing here. Some of those warmer colors as the daytime temperatures heat up from the high pressure, and those cooler colors and the more yellowish colors, those are the cooler temperatures that cool off at night because there's not really any clouds to keep the heat down at the surface. So what's going on in some cities out west? Denver. I've never been to Denver. It is a city I do want to visit. So if any of you are out there, definitely send me an invite. I'll come visit you. But we can see we have pretty lovely temperatures, actually some swell temperatures here in Denver. 80s sitting for the early parts of this week, and that's going to dip down just slightly into the 70s with some lows in the low 50s and even the upper 40s. Spokane, Washington. So Spokane, another city I've never been to, but I do want to visit. We have some temperatures sitting in the lower 50s across much of the middle parts of this week, with temperatures, the low temperatures dipping down near freezing. Those are some pretty buried temperatures, even for April. And Salt Lake City. So another city I've never been to, but I do want to come visit. So in Salt Lake City, the rest of the early parts of this week, looking at temperatures in the 50s and 60s with lows down in the 40s and dipping into the 30s. So we're going to pass things off over to Katie with a look at what's going on here in Tally.
Thank you, Spencer. Looking at a few locations here at the Big Bend regions, we are seeing some very cloudy locations. Here at the Sportsplex, there was a few scattered clouds, but now it's pretty much covered in clouds, as well as the Panama City. We could see a little bit of that sky peeking through Lake Bradford, same story. So pretty much cloudy conditions throughout the region. For current temperatures, we are seeing a little bit cooler as we head to the west. 70 here in Tallahassee, so pretty much warmer as we move inland, staying at the lower 70s to lower 60s. Our current dew points, we are seeing 53 here in Tallahassee, 59 here in Apalachicola, and that's not too far off our actual temperature, so it will feel pretty humid outside. So you definitely want to keep an eye out for that. Our Strozier forecast, we are seeing 57, which is pretty cool in cloudy conditions. So you definitely want to bring a jacket with you if you are heading out because it will be on the cooler side tonight. As our stargazing forecast might not be the best, we are looking at fair conditions because that cloud cover will come by and you pretty much won't be able to see the stars. But we do have a waning gibbous, and that will be bright enough to see if you are going stargazing tonight. For our airport delays in Tallahassee, we are expecting no delays. It is cloudy, but that shouldn't affect your trip heading out of Tallahassee. And as for some other major cities, we are expecting no delays as well. Some rain here in Orlando, but that shouldn't affect your flight. So you definitely want to be on time for your flight out. For our late night forecast, we are staying pretty cool. At 9 p.m. we're seeing cloudy conditions at 62, and that will decrease in temperature at 60, but not too much. Again, cloudy at 1 a.m. as well. And as we get to tomorrow's forecast, we are seeing 76. So we are jumping up in temperatures just a bit. We are seeing partly cloudy conditions as well, but we shouldn't expect some rain, and that breeze will kick up to 13 miles per hour going east-northeast. Our dog walk forecast, we are seeing 57 here at 7 a.m., so probably not the best time to walk your dog, but if you head out at 9 a.m., it will be 59, and then 11 a.m. at 66, so you definitely want to head for 11 a.m., maybe bring a jacket as well. Tomorrow's pool cast might not be the best day as well because it is pretty cold at 9 a.m. 3 p.m. it might be still a little bit chilly, but the water might be warm if you have a heated pool, so you definitely want to check out for that. Tomorrow's marine forecast, we are looking at 75. The wind is breezy, so you definitely want to hold on to the boat because it might be pretty choppy outside, or hour by hour. We will get up to 71 here at 4 p.m., so that will remain pretty steady. But let's check our local with Anna.
Thanks, Katie. I hope that everyone had a very great and swell holiday weekend here. And we're going to be taking a look at our local weather. As you can see here, we have our clouds just across the sky. Not much of a sunset to see, unfortunately. And as mentioned earlier, there is a low that's in the Gulf that is developing with some onshore flow that's pushing these scattered showers on. And we have temperatures pretty uniform across the board, 70 here in Tallahassee. We do have warmer conditions here. We are the concrete jungle. We also have lots of wind here, 10 miles per hour, 16 up here and 12. So the further in you get to the coast, the further out that you get into the inland areas, the windier it's going to be. As I mentioned, we have our low developing with these scattered showers that are being pushed onshore. And as we take a look into the evening and future, we can see that the storms are going to dissipate, and then there could be some more later on in from the coast. And then if we look at tonight's forecast, again, pretty uniform across the board, dipping into the 50s here, maybe 54 in Thomasville, and then warmer near the coast. Apalachicola, 61 degrees. As we look at the air quality, I have some allergies, so it's very good that we don't have any of that issue, no pollen, no air pollution, none of those controlled burns that we have been seeing. And we're going to take a look here at tomorrow's bike cast. Overall, it's a very good day for biking. I would say if you want to go outside, maybe about noon would be a perfect time if you don't want a jacket, windbreaker, or anything like that. And then as we take a look into our 7-day here, the main story across the map is that we're going to be experiencing a lot of rain coming up here soon. So we look like we have some very swell conditions here on Tuesday and Wednesday. But into Thursday, it looks like we might have a front that's happening. So I would definitely recommend that you bring an umbrella or perhaps just prepare for that. I know that I was out at the circus on Saturday, and we definitely had a lot of wind there, stormy conditions. It was definitely cooler outside, so I would just be prepared to definitely make sure that you bring a jacket, raincoat, just make sure that you're prepared for these very variable conditions coming up. So I'm going to pass things off to Spencer to close our show.
Thanks, Anna. And firstly, all of us here at FSU Weather, we would like to give a giant swell congratulations to Anna on her first official weathercast here with FSU Weather. We know there's going to be many more great segments to come. But just here is a closing look at the show. We've talked about quite a bit tonight. So as I'm sure you saw, much of the country, different parts of the country, are all in varying stages of drought. Here in Florida, with the exception of actually the Tallahassee area, because we had our drought a few months ago, most of Florida is actually under a pretty decent drought right now. So I know that rain down here is definitely going to be, we're very thankful for that rain. And many places out west have seen a very stark improvement, I guess, swell conditions for those droughts out there, with a little bit of an exception in Oregon. But hopefully this atmospheric river will definitely take care of that. And of course, we are seeing some pretty nasty droughts out in the plains, so hopefully all of that can dwindle down a bit and those soils can get a little bit more moist and they're not as dusty by the time tornado season really kicks off. But overall, we hope everyone's had a swell night and enjoys these swell temperatures to come over the next few days. So please, if you haven't already, do follow us on all of our social media accounts. You can find us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube at those websites. .com/FSU Weather. So again, if you haven't followed us already, please do so, and feel free to send us any questions or pictures. We'd love to hear from you guys. And also follow us on TikTok. If I didn't mention that already, just remember you won't be able to watch that on campus. But we do hope you had a swell night, and this is student meteorologist Spencer Blum signing off from FSU Weather.